All right, we are live. I'm just going to get Amazon going here. And I haven't done a production video in a while. And I thought with all the horrible things happening in the world right now, we could all use a little distraction with some fun production gear. So that is what I am going to be playing with this afternoon. I got to leave around 3:45 or so. So that's my time. So we will go as long as we can until I run out of time. But yeah, you know, there's a lot of bad stuff happening today, so I figured it'd be fun to just take our minds off of all of that for a little while. And I know this will be therapeutic for me because I've been watching the news all morning. Recipe Bob is here, Romeric is here, and NC Strev is here. Hi there, everybody. And I'm just going to get combobulated here. And what we're looking at today, this is kind of like it's a consumer device in the sense that you can buy one. But this is a video encoder from Teradek. We've looked at a bunch of these before. This is on loan from them, by the way. And I got this so many months ago, and I just haven't gotten around to doing anything with it. So today we are going to do something with it. And hey, Grayson Petty, thank you for the super chat. Glad I could be here for you. So it's always good to, like I said, take our minds off of the rest of the world for a little while and play with some tech. So we are going to play with some tech and not talk about anything else but tech right now. So Grant is here, Nigel is here from London Heathrow, Andrew Shields is here, Ding Dong is here, Monty is here. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the Steam Deck as soon as I can get one. And I believe the note is coming out from Steam today for people who are going to be invited to get one. And I don't believe I have received my note about the Steam Deck. Let me check my email because I don't know if it came in yet or not. No. So I have not been invited to buy my Steam Deck yet. So as soon as I am able to get one, but I am excited about the Steam Deck because I think it is going to be a neat device. And it might actually be a piece of hardware that Valve might find some success with. They've had a hard time kind of finding something to stick on the hardware side. And they've got a pretty capable hardware department. But it looks like my expected order availability is not until the second quarter of 2022. So I am probably not in that first batch. And what happened was, we'll start unboxing this thing and I'll explain what it is. What happened was I was having a hard time because there were so many people logging in at the same time. I was having a hard time getting my stuff in there. So that's why that didn't happen, unfortunately. And I am not one of the the select media organizations that got one, unfortunately. You know, it's me and a million other people that do what I do. So I was not top of the list there. So what are we looking at today? Well, this is a video encoding device. It is designed for live streaming. And what this does, in addition to streaming things out, is that it also doubles as a display. So you can use this to monitor your output while it is encoding in the same device. And we've looked at some of these things from Teradek before, namely the VidU products. We looked at the VidU X and the VidU Go. And this is another product in that line. And it connects up with their service that allows for not multiplexing, allows for multiple connections, if you will. So, and I'll show you how it works. But the way you can basically connect it to two different internet connections or more, and have it feed in. You know, I'm like spacing out on the term, but it can feed in from multiple sources. So you can have 3 internet connections, and it will balance the load between the 3 of them. Multiplexing, I guess, is probably the word I was thinking about. And it works really well. And so this will do that with their service, in addition to giving you a display to work with, and we're going to take a look at that. I want to thank Josiah Gersey for your super chat. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. And let me see if I'm missing anybody here. Russell is here. And Iowa Adventures is here. And David is here from Wales. Arif is here, looking to learn something today, as am I. William Wilkinson is here. And Grayson is doing networking in Cisco's packet tracker. That sounds pretty arduous. And they are getting some shipments going. Yeah, I think I must be in the second round. And this actually encodes, it doesn't decode, but it'll encode at H.265, which we'll talk about in the review. And bonding is the word I was looking for, thank you. And we will have some more fun with updates, but I think the update will be quicker. But bonding is the word I'm looking for. And Mark Smith is here. I guess emails go out tomorrow. Oh, okay, I thought today was the day the emails were going out. Okay, so I will keep an eye out, because I'm eager to get one. I'm excited about it. So I've been doing a lot of PC game streaming, but not so much on handheld PCs lately. There's a little arm here, so it's got like a little stand that we'll install on it, and then we'll do all the updates and everything. It's got a screen protector, and I think in here we have all of the cables. Now this will work with your standard camcorder batteries, and it also is powered over USB Type-C here at the bottom. Surprisingly, it does not appear to support power over Ethernet. I do have a PoE connection here, which I'll test real quick, but I don't think it works with PoE. So you have to connect up USB, yeah, it's not turning on. You have to connect up USB power or use the battery connectors on the back here. And by the way, this is on loan from Teradek. And I borrowed this from them a long time ago, and I'm first getting to it now. And they've been bugging me, because they're not requiring a review, obviously, but they have like a time frame in which you can borrow it for before they decide to bill you for it. So I've been they've been bugging me to get moving here. So we're going to do that. It came in like right during the holiday season, so these production videos are fun for me to do, and they do okay in the long run. But consumer tech is really more my main focus. So around the holiday season, I like to focus on consumer technology. And Monty's looking to do emulation. Yeah, I think it's going to be great for emulation on the deck, for sure. And David is here from Connecticut. Yes, we're getting snow. And where I live, it's going to be between like 1 to 6 inches. We have no idea how much snow we're getting before it turns over to whatever else it's going to turn into. All right, so I'm going to plug this in. And what we're going to do today is a little sample stream to my extras channel, which we will do in a little bit. But before we do that, I got to connect up its antennas. Now this supports Wi-Fi, and you can also connect it to cellular networks through its USB port here at the bottom. So if you have like a cellular modem, you can connect with that. And some of these, the VidiU Go actually has cellular modems that will plug into it, which is pretty cool. But this one works a little differently. Now I got to find the Ethernet cable that I ran from my equipment room. Where did I put it? I know I terminated it over here somewhere. And the cable that I just had is not the one that we're going to play with, because I actually have two distinct internet connections here, thanks to my Comcast Gigabit Pro thing that they set up. So we can actually kind of simulate different networks here. So I'm going to connect to Wi-Fi with one network, and the other network will be connecting via, I'm just going to attach these legs here. I think it'll look better if I have it standing up on its little legs. And let's see if we can figure out how to attach those legs here. So they've got some screws in here. And I think the way this works, it must kind of connect a little, must be like that, yeah. I think that's how it works. Let's see, I think that's how it goes. See, I am so spatially awful at this kind of stuff that I always get these things wrong. But these two things seem to look like they connect together here, so that's how it goes. Let me give you my other view. And let me get rid of David's comment here. All right. And we're just going to connect this up. I think it goes this way. Yeah, it's got like a little stand. You can mount this a million different ways. It even has like a tripod mount at the bottom. And what we're going to do is we're going to connect it up with my ATEM Mini Extreme here, and we're going to set up a live stream on my other channel with this thing. And then we're going to experiment with a few different ways of streaming from this thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it goes this way. And if it doesn't, I will flip it around. Yeah, these antennas I think are for the Wi-Fi. But one of the nice things about this is that you can actually see what it's streaming out. So the other devices they have, the video devices, you can use your phone as like an app to monitor things, but this will give you, I think, a better sense as to what is actually getting transmitted out. All right, so, and you can also record to it. So on the top, you have an SD card, regular SD card slot up here, so you can actually record directly on it. I believe it will record, though, at the same bit rate it is streaming out at. And we're going to boot it up. The first thing we're going to do, though, is, as we always like to do on this channel, is run a firmware update, because that is what you got to do. So we're going to let this thing boot. My understanding is it is a touch screen. So we're going to go into the settings here and do the update. Let me just make sure I've got my wired connection here. Yep, we're connected up there. The modem. Oh, it's actually got, you know what? It looks like it might have internal cellular modems. Is there a SIM slot on this thing somewhere? It must have two modems. Interesting. All right, so let's go over to our firmware section here. Now it says the firmware is up to date, but I know there's a firmware update that was pushed down recently. So I'm not sure if I can force it. Let me check for updates. There it goes. Yeah, so we're going to do an upgrade here. So that'll just take a second. I think this will be a lot quicker than what we looked at last time. That mini PC that took, about a year to get cooking. See, this firmware update's already going in. So there we go. All right. And Mark is getting ice in Maryland. Yeah, we are getting snow and then slush. And Win32 says, my Apple Watch is hurting my hand. No, I like my watch. It tells me if I'm alive or not at this point. And it does kind of look like Wall-E, doesn't it? It's got I like the little stand it has. Okay. So now, I think we will have rebooted. And then I've got my Canon camera here. And the HDMI is going in. So I've got to do one more HDMI thing here. Let me grab my plug for the ATEM. So what we're going to do is we are going to run the ATEM Mini here. We are going to run the ATEM Mini through its HDMI out to this thing. And then we will see if this works. I got to just grab an HDMI cable. But you see how fast that firmware update was, everybody. We're making progress here. So hopefully this will be a little quicker. Oops, that one's plugged in. Let me grab another cable somewhere. I saw one earlier that I could. Here's one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the HDMI output. I'm going to turn on my camera here too. I'm going to take the HDMI output out of my ATEM Mini Extreme here. And we'll plug it in. This is a great device. I reviewed this a while ago. It's got a lot of buttons on it. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see what this thing does. This is like a full-on video switching system. And I've got right now two inputs running into it. And then I'm going to have the HDMI here looks like it plugs into the bottom, run out to this device here. All right. And let's see what all these buttons do here. Oh, look at that. Pretty cool. So now we've got, it's actually a nice looking display. And it tells me the format of what's going into it. It actually looks really good. And then I have another camera set up on this, looking at my little alcove there, so I can switch back and forth. And then what's cool about this device is that I can do, dissolves and stuff. So this will be a good way to test, just kind of how well it will stream. So it's pretty cool so far. So that's neat. And so it's giving me the input here, and then I can connect up to events. Now, I don't have any events currently configured for this. And actually what I need to do is I've got to set up my streaming destinations. And to do that, I've got to set up my account. And there's a couple of things that you can do with this. So the way these things are designed to work is best through the ShareLink service, which is their bonding service that they run. And what we'll experiment with here is actually running a live stream out to my secondary YouTube channel. And what that will do is we're going to run through Wi-Fi. So I'm actually going to connect it to my Wi-Fi right now as well. We're going to run it through Wi-Fi. And we're also going to run it through the Ethernet at the same time. And you'll be able to see on its display how it's working on that stream. And then I can pull the cable out, and it will go right over to the Wi-Fi. It's pretty neat. I've done this test before in a number of situations. So it does work, and I'm confident it'll work here. But what I need to do is I need to put it on my local Wi-Fi access point here. So let me just get this set up. And you can use the screen on here, or you can connect it to, I got to put the right security in here. There's an app apparently that connects with it on my phone, which I haven't played with yet. But give me 1 second. Let me just type in my password for the Wi-Fi. It's a really nice display, though. It better be, I think, for the price point. Okay. So now I think we're good there. So are we connected to the Wi-Fi? Because the wired connection is connected. Okay, so we're going to do 5 gigahertz range only. Hit X. All right, so why is it not connecting? Bear with me, folks. Let's just double check here. All right, so I'm on the right network. And it's interesting, there's no option to just connect to something. It just doesn't let you do that. So I'm going to exit out of there. And maybe I've got to reboot it. So that's what we're going to do here real quick. Let's do a quick reboot and see if it connects to the wireless automatically. And it must have 2 embedded cellular modems on it. I think that's what these antennas are for. So I will check that real quick, and we'll do a quick reboot here. So this is called the Teradek Wave, by the way. It is about $1,200, so it's not cheap. But these production devices tend not to be. All right, so outputs in physical. I'm just going to see what it supports here. Bonding. Okay, so it supports 2 USB cellular modems, but they're not built in. But it can connect to 7 network. So you can bond up to 7 network ports. So it can support 2 USB cellular modems. I'm guessing you need, oh, there's 2, okay, so there's a USB port on the bottom and one on the top. So those are your USB modems. And then you can also have up to 4 cell phones bonded in as well. So you can have your phones kind of in a, in a hotspot scenario doing that. Let me just check my Wi-Fi here and see if it managed to connect. It has not. So why? I have a feeling, oh, I see, I want to connect as a client, that's why. Connected to, there we go. All right, I had it set up the wrong way. All right, so now we're going to connect as a client. So it is connected to that now. Bear with me for 1 second here, folks. I'm just figuring out the rest of this thing. Now I know what's going on. Okay, so I had it set up in access point mode when I really wanted it to be a client. So now I'm going to connect as a client to my Wi-Fi network here. So we're going to have 2 distinct internet connections. And that will make this work, I believe. I think that's what's going to happen. Bear with me here. Okay, connect. So, okay, now it's good. Okay, so now we're connected. So now, perfect. So now I have now connected this to both of my networks. Now the next step is we're going to connect this thing up to the share link service so that we can make all this work. Yeah, so this is, by the way, David Bound, this is a big point of contention in my house right now because I am on the school board. Now I don't make the call on this, but the superintendent makes the call on this stuff. But my wife always lets me know how she feels about the call that the superintendent made, right? So that's how it goes. All right, so we're going to look up the Teradek share link service now. And I'm going to connect to my account there. And I've got to set up a couple of things on that front. And then we'll start streaming to my extras channel. And bear with me here for a second. Okay. So I need to add this device to my ShareLink network. So let me do that real quick. And then I'll show you what I'm doing so you can get a feel for how this stuff's supposed to work. That's interesting. It lost signal. So we'll have to come back to this issue in a second here. But let's go back to... Let's go back to here, and we're going to go to Stream Destinations, Add Account, Share Link. And now I've just got to type in my code number. Okay. And then we'll say US East, complete and add. Okay. So now what's going to happen is that this device is going to connect up with my share link, and that's the bonded connection that we'll have running here. Okay, so it looks like we're good to go there. Let me take a look and see. Looks like they changed this since the last time I was in here, because everything is different. Yeah. All right, let's see if this is going to work here. Okay, so now it is showing as connected. And I need to add a channel. So I'm going to add my extras channel to the mix here. So bear with me for 1 more second, and once I get this configured, we will be ready to go here with this streaming experiment. So I'm just going to go and load up this thing here. And I'll let you take a look at all this stuff that I've got on the desk here. And this is going to be on the extras channel. It's going to be a separate stream. And this is going to be streaming from the Teradek wave. And I'll make this I guess I'll make it public. And bear with me for another second here until I get this all set up. All right, so we're just going to let that be there. Okay, so now I've got that set up. So the channel's set up, and I think what I'm going to do now, let's go back out to the video image. Now, unfortunately, it's not showing me anything, so let me plug in the HDMI here. And I will enable the audio. Okay, there it goes. So when I rebooted, it didn't automatically pick back up on this. Now we're not getting any audio out of here, so I'm going to turn on the camera's built-in audio, and that should go through the HDMI cable here. At least it's supposed to, so that's off. Let me take a look and see what that camera... Okay, so the camera's getting audio, but the audio is not coming out to here. Oh, I see, I was on the wrong one. There we go. Okay, so now I've got audio feeding through. And we've got our two camera angles. Okay, so now what we're going to try here is go over. I just want to start streaming. So let me create a new event and see how this works. I'll call it that. Next. All right, so we're going to connect up with my share link. Next. We're going to disable recording for now. And then I can set my bit rate here. So I will send up, I'll do 5 megabits. I think that's fine. I think that's probably more than I'm sending right now. Okay. All right, so now I think, I'm not sure what this is going to. We'll find out in a second how this is actually working. But the bonding is definitely set up there. Let's go back to here. So I got my account set up, and the stream is coming back with an error. So let me see what... I'm not sure if it's sending it in or not. Actions. So they completely changed how this share link thing works. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so now we're sending in. So it is connected. It's getting, okay, so now it's getting bit rate. Okay, good. All right, so now we are good to go. So what I want to see on here is whether or not this is going to give me the output here, because it's definitely going in. But I am not live. In fact, it's not letting me go live because I need to add a channel that I can activate here. Okay, so it is encoding properly. Let's hit the button here, add channel. Okay, here we go. That's what I was looking for. Add, okay. So now it looks like we are live on YouTube on the Extras channel. And it looks like that's going. So if you go to Lon.TV/extras, you'll see that. And you can see now it's showing me that I'm live here. What it's not showing me is, okay, so it's giving me an indicator here of the connection status. Let me show you what I see on here. So I'll zoom in on the display a little bit so you can get a feel for what we're getting here. And I'm assuming it looks like it's coming through okay. Oops. So what I want to see, and I don't have it up on my screen right now, but maybe I'll give you a way of seeing this. What I would love to be able to show you is what it's delivering statistics-wise up to the mothership there. But you can see right now that it's bonding. So we're doing a 5 megabit connection, and you can see it's split evenly between wireless and wired. And this is coming in over 2 different connections. So one is going through my main 3 gig internet, and the other is going through the 1 gig leg. And that seems to be working from the standpoint of that. Now what's cool is that if I'll get to some questions here in a second. If I unplug, let me do this real quick. I'm going to unplug the Ethernet here. You watching? So we're just going to pull the cable right out. Now watch what happens to the wired connection. It's going to drop to nothing, but it's going to balance it out over to the wireless connection. At least it's supposed to. Yes, you see it's dropping out because it's like, wait, what happened? Where'd it go? It's been disconnected. And now the wireless is bearing the full amount. And what I'll do here is plug it back in, and I'll show you, and you'll see this on the live stream that we're doing on the Extras channel. If I plug this back in, you'll see now the wired will come back online in a second. And what's amazing about how this works, and I've done this with other live streams before, is that you don't lose the connection. So it's seamless, because what's happening is you're delivering this, I'm not sure what camera to look at anymore. You're delivering this video content up to their cloud, and then it's being distributed out. And that's why, to Prime's comment in my Extras channel chat, there's a couple of second delay because it's going to them first before it's going over to YouTube. So that's why you're seeing that delay there. And it looks like, yeah, we're only doing the Extras channel here. But it's funny, every time I log into this, they completely redo everything, so it always changes. But you can see now that we're evenly split here. Let me see what else I can do. So I go to stream quality. Oh, here, that's what I was looking for. So the other thing you get here, I'll have to take this somewhere else where I get a better signal. But what you got here is the bit rate of the video, and then you have the different connection types. So you can see it's always going to try to balance it out evenly between the wired and the wireless in this instance. Now, if I had a cell phone connected, which you can do, in fact, I think you can do it over USB. If I had a cell phone connected or a cellular modem connected, it would try to divide it 3 ways, and then it goes up and down. So the school that we have locally here, the high school, we did their high school graduation, and I had they have a VDU Go there, and what we did is we connected it. So they have like a really funky setup there. So they have by the field where they do the graduation, they have a microwave connection that goes back to the school. So it's like in the middle of the field, they have this little shack, and there's a microwave transmitter. It's about 40 megabits both ways. So it shoots 40 megabits back to the school, and then it goes out their 1 gig fiber connection. And I was nervous about it because there's a lot of people around, and if something gets in the middle of that microwave, you suddenly lose the connection. So we had my phone as the second device. So I paired the VDU Go, I think it's one that they have. I paired that with my phone and then plugged the Ethernet in from the microwave connection, and then it was balancing out between the two. And so we had a seamless broadcast with one of these things. And the difference here is that you get a much better idea as to what you're actually doing here, because you have the video image on a really high quality display. This is a 1080p display, by the way. But then you've got all of your statistics here. So I can monitor the stream quality, for example. And I think it's also going to tell me, yep, that I'm going to my Extras channel. And what I'm curious about, if I tap on it, I can't stop that. And if I hit that, it'll stop completely. And then if you go here, you've got your power connection, and it's got my account number, or account name. And you've got your audio levels too. So you really, I think it's just one of those peace of mind things because this is the final output that it's getting, right? So you know exactly what's going out the door. But there's not much to it. It's pretty simple. Here, so you know what we'll do again is, I'll take some questions too in a minute. Oh wait, you're not seeing it on the extras channel, huh? So it should be public on the extras channel. Let me go over there real quick. Yeah, if you go to Lon.TV/extras, you should see it. It looks like there's 6 of you have found it. I'll put it in the chat window on this stream. Thank you. Oh, Chris Allegretta beat me to it. Thank you. So now you'll hear me in stereo, right? There's going to be a bit of a delay. And this thing gets redone a million ways to Sunday on how this works. And unfortunately, Chris Allegretta did not get his notification. That seems to be par for the course these days with YouTube. Ed Horn is here. And Grant, yes, it's true. There's a lot of work that goes into this because what I'm thinking about here for this review is I'm thinking about how to demo this because here's a product that to test it, we've got to do a bunch of different things. We've got to pull that cable out and see how the stream gets impacted by that, right? And that's just one of the things you've got to deal with there. And actually what I will do, I'm just trying to think about how to best demo this. Because if we go to, I'm just thinking about this. If I go to the stream, I think what I might do is show this on camera as I pull the cable out. And that way, if I don't break everything here, and that way, you can all see, all right, so here we go. So we are, all right, so let me try this way. So we are streaming right now through this cable, but we're also connected over wireless. So I'm going to pull out the Ethernet. And when I do that, we shouldn't see any interruption because it is bonding the connection here. And if I go onto my device here, what will happen is I'm going to see that wired connection drop off and the load switch over to the wireless. And right now I'm completely wireless. And I pulled that cable out, but I'm still maintaining things because it does that redundancy through the share link. So you can see how that works. Then I'll plug it back in. And in a second or two, it'll get caught back up to speed. And what's nice about this, especially if you're relying on multiple cellular connections, is that it will balance this all out for you in the background. And it really works well. I've used this out in the field, and it's good. And it's not that expensive. They charge you by the data rate, but if you're doing like 2.5 megabits per second, which I think is what we did for the graduation when we did it, it's not all that expensive to do a pretty good length broadcast. So it's definitely, I think, something for peace of mind. I do wish to some degree the price might be subsidized because of that connection to the service, but because the service is so inexpensive, I think it's probably why it is what it is. Now what's interesting is that it has not redetected the wired connection yet, so it's completely relying on the Wi-Fi now. And it did pick it back up before. Oh, there it goes. So it does take it a second to come back into play. But now you'll see that it's balancing back out again here. And so you get that in the thing here. And then if we go over to stream quality, you'll see that wired part of the chart is going to pick up, and the wireless is going to come down to meet it. Pretty cool. All right. Elber B-Style wants to know, will it do 60 FPS? I believe it does. I'm pretty sure all of these do. So let me pull up the specs on it here. So this is the Teradek Wave. And by the way, I can do one of my other fancy things here. So I have the super source. Oops. that didn't. I don't have super source configured on here. That's why it didn't show up. I've got to play around with the settings on my ATEM. I have the ATEM Extreme here. I figure it's good to like kind of demo how you might use this as a whole setup. So the video quality is up to 1080p 60. It will do H.264. I thought this did H.265, but apparently not. The other one did. Let me see what it has for video here. Video inputs, video processing. Yeah, just H.264. It'll go up to 15 megabits per second. 1080p is the maximum it supports. Now, it might be the Video Go actually supports HEVC, which is really useful when you're out in the field. And it's kind of neat, actually, look at the chart here, how it's had to figure out how to get everything settled back down. So it lost the wired. Is the wired off again? Let's see. No, it's back up. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of funny how it kind of gets. Oh, it's weird. It's like, yeah, the wired is like dropping off a little bit. See how it's like having a hard time finding the equilibrium again. So yeah, 1080p 60 is the max. It does not support HEVC. I think actually it might be the Video Go maybe does that. So one of these devices that they have has two different tiers of service, and that higher tier will accept HEVC video, but none of the streaming sites support it. So what happens is that it will re-encode the video on their cloud side and then distribute, and they charge you extra for that re-encoding. But if you're in a really bandwidth restricted area, you could get a little more quality pushed out with the HEVC format. Ed Horn just got the notification there. And what is this Elden Ring? Is that a movie? I'm like completely out of the loop here. Elden Ring. What is that? Oh, it's a game. The Elden Ring is an upcoming open world. Oh, it's based on the Lord of the Rings. See how out of the loop I am? Completely out of the loop. So I am guilty as charged. Completely guilty as charged. There's a guy that does, yeah, that's a cool channel, especially when they have all those awful crosswinds there and stuff. It will not do HDR, so it's just 1080. And again, the use case for this is like I said, this goes beyond kind of consumer use. So the use case for this is you're doing a live stream out in the field, and you want the ability to do a bonded connection over low quality connections. So in one scenario you might have, so I would pair my cell phone up with this right now, but I get no signal down here. So in one scenario, actually, you know what? Let's try it. Grab my my cable. We'll give it a shot. We'll plug my iPhone in and see if it can squeeze out a very weak signal. So the scenario is that you've got a phone on AT&T, a phone on Verizon, and you're out in the middle of a field somewhere. And so this screen gives you the ability to not only see what you're streaming, but also bond the connection. So I'm going to plug my iPhone in real quick. And I have like practically no signal down here. It's like a very weak 1 bar. And so I don't anticipate a lot of data getting pushed over this connection. And what I'm going to do, I can't change it in the middle of a stream. So why don't we stop this real quick. I'll confirm that. All right, so now we've stopped the stream. So it looks like okay, so that's stopped. So that's going to end. And I'm going to hit the end stream button here. Okay, so now I'm going to jump back to here and see if I can get my phone configured. So let's go over to I forgot which one does it on the iPhone, if it shows up as a modem or not. So I'm going to kind of go into the personal hotspot setting here. And I'm going to see if this is going to work. Unless, under this scenario, it needs to connect to the phone over Wi-Fi. And I don't know if it supports multiple Wi-Fi connections or not. Let me see if it does that. Well, it might, actually. Let's see. Because I think maybe it can connect to multiple Wi-Fi connections simultaneously. That might be kind of neat. All right, so here's my phone. And I'm going to type in my phone's Wi-Fi password. And let's see what happens. Okay, so now, will it connect to two networks at the same time? Let's see. No. It just does one at a time. So what I need to do now then is figure out how to connect it to multiple networks here. And Ed Horn says, this is nice. Our production truck uses the Teradek slice and distribute through Teradek's core. Yeah, so this is their ShareLink service, which is kind of like the low-end version of core. So it doesn't do any active encoding. It just passes the H.264 over. But it does a pretty good job of it. But it looks like it can only connect to one Wi-Fi network at a time. And let me go back over here. Oh, no, it just started streaming again. Well, I guess if I hit that, it'll start streaming. Okay, so that's what's going on there. So we haven't started yet. Oh, this is interesting too. So it gives you a network priority mode here. So you can choose between which one is the one that you think you're going to have the best connection with. So obviously wired would be, you know, top of that list. And then I can set my destinations. Now this will not multi-stream. So if you want to multi-stream, you've got to use the ShareLink service, is how you want to go. Mark wants to know, will it upcode? No, so I think it's going to send whatever you give it, and then it would be on the client to upconvert from there. And Chris says, in regards to the game, all FromSoft games get this sort of rabid coverage and hype. I hope it's going to be as fun. Yeah, I've never played any of these games. I need to start playing some games again. I got Game Pass, and I sit down and it's like, so now like with the Game Pass thing, it's the same for me now as it is when you're trying to like figure out what to watch on Netflix or Prime. There's like too much stuff to watch, so I just get inundated with indecision because there's always just too much stuff to watch on there. Jason says, I'm surprised if you're paying $1,200 for the equipment, they don't throw in some complimentary access to Teradek Share. That's a good question, because it's not that expensive to use it, because it's, again, the Teradek ShareLink service. Let me look at the price on it. And the way it works is based on the data. And what's funny is I'm pretty sure we're actually sending data into them right now, because if you look here, I'm not streaming. I have to hit this button here to stream. But if you look here, you know, we're sending data up to them. I'm not being charged for that. So they don't charge you until you actually start doing it. You do get, okay, so you do get a 60+ day trial for free. And there's a couple of different plans. So the one that I would recommend to people is the on-demand. It's $2 a gigabyte. And again, remember, if you're doing, like we just did 5 megabits, if you're doing 2.5 megabits, I think a gig is maybe an hour, and that's per service. So it's not that expensive if you're billing a client, really. I mean, it's very inexpensive. And the price is based on what you stream out, not what you send in, if that makes sense. So right now, even though I'm sending data in, it's not billing my account. It's only when you're streaming out that you get billed for that. But it's pretty straightforward, not hard. And then what I could do is you could also go directly to different services. So if you preferred to just stream to YouTube directly from this, you don't have to use their service. But this only goes out to one thing unless you're on the other thing. If that makes sense. But I got to figure out how the cellular or how the cell phones work with it. And then you can set up multiple channels on here. So you can have it stream out to like 12 things at once if you want. There's no limit as to how that works. All right, so now let's look at, because it says, so it'll bond up to 7 network ports, 2 USB cellular modems, 1 Ethernet, 1 Wi-Fi, or up to 4 cell phones. And I don't know how the cell phone thing works. So that's the one thing I've got to research on here a bit. Because I plugged my phone, oh, I see, there's a Wave app for iOS, which I downloaded. So let me just see how that works. That might be our conduit. So here's the Wave app. And then I've got to tell it where I am. Okay, so I'm going to hit, okay, so I found my Wave. And I can link my iOS device. Place your Wave into access point mode. Okay. Oh, I see. That's right. So, okay. So the way the cell phones work. All right. That's how that works. Okay. So you put the Wave into access point mode, and then you connect the phones to it over Wi-Fi, and then it shoots the data back out that way. That's how that works. So that's cool, right? So you could have 4 phones connecting via Wi-Fi. The phones connect to the Wave, and the Wave shoots its data out through the phones. So you can have 4 phones going that way. And then on top of that, you could have 2 additional cellular modems and the Ethernet. That's how they get to the 7. So it's 4, 2, and 1. That's how that works. So that might be something I have to test out a little bit later. But that's pretty cool. And again, that only, though, works with the ShareLink service. And yeah, I'll have to show the app in the video. But that's it. It's not very complicated, which is actually a good thing. I think it's nice to have something that is doing something complex that is not hard to figure out. And I just zapped my thing here. And Ed says it's like a live. Yeah, this is in that vein. They compete against LiveView. And they started with the VidU Go in this lower cost territory, and then they went to the VidU X, which we looked at a few months ago. And now this is the latest iteration. And this is a much better interface. Ed Horton says this has a better interface than the LiveView. So that might actually be of interest for people. And the Brown agrees here. That might be of interest in the review video, I think, then, if there's an interest in the interface being better. That might be of interest to the viewers. And I'm going to see if I can turn on. Okay, there we go. So I'm just messing around with my. I got my fancy little switcher here. So this is my overhead. This is the ATEM Mini. And I did a full review of this whole family of products. And I keep I'm a video nerd, so I keep extra things around because you never know when you might need to have something to do something. So this device actually is kind of an all-in-one thing also, because this will record and stream. So I can actually stream if I'm on a network connection. This can stream out, and then all these buttons do stuff. So this is my audio control for the first HDMI input. It has 2 analog mic inputs, and then it can take up to 8. It's so big I can't even show it to you all. it can take up to 8 HDMI inputs, and it has super source. So what this thing can do used to cost probably about $5,000 or $6,000 in prior ATEM iterations, and this one is $1,000. But you can get a 4-input one for like $250. Really inexpensive. So Mark says, if you want to triple stream, do you need 3 boxes? So no, you can. So this will only push out one version of your show, but you can send it to unlimited destinations. So for example, I could take this, send it to YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, multiple YouTube channels actually, but you're getting metered on the data usage. So they're going to ding you by the gigabyte as the stuff goes out the door. So that's the limitation there. But I could not stream multiple things into it. So it only takes one video source, and then it streams it out to multiple places. And Sam Lazar is also a video nut. Patrick Chang is here. Hello there. Jason wants to know how big are the larger ones. I'm assuming you're talking about this thing. So this is the largest mini. So the other ones are about here in size. They're not very big. And those do 4. Those have 4 inputs. So the Extreme adds obviously more inputs. This one has something called Super Source, which allows for, it can handle like 4 layers at the same time. And you can scale the inputs and stuff, so there's a little bit more that this one can do versus the other ones. And then it has 2 USB outputs. So this will, if you plug it, it's like a Swiss Army knife kind of thing. If you plug this into a computer via USB, this shows up as a webcam, but it simultaneously pushes video out over HDMI. So it has 2 HDMI outputs, 2 USB ports. You can plug a hard drive into the USB ports and use it to record, or use it as a webcam. It's so versatile that these things have really become like the game-changing device, especially the entry-level one, because the entry-level one does basic video switching. You know, the entry-level one does everything my cable access station's switcher could do, except that it was $250 versus whatever it cost back in 1989 to get it. So it is cool stuff. All right. Well, there isn't much to this thing, which is actually a good thing. I don't think that's bad. Make sure our firmware is up to date. I think we're good there. Yeah, that's it. Not much more to talk about here. It's pretty bright. But it's nice. It's simple. I like simple. Okay. And Patrick, I got to run here, folks. I got a meeting at half hour I got to be at. But Patrick says Super Source is probably a bigger upgrade than the 4 extra inputs. I would agree with that. When I reviewed this, I struggled to have 8 things to plug into it to figure it out. So if you watch my review, you can see I actually ended up getting 8 things that I plugged into it. Jason asked a good question. Can you use it with NDI? No. Well, not directly. So there are devices. Bird Dog makes them, and there's a few others out there too. You can buy NDI decoder boxes that you put on. I have their Bird Dog Mini, which does this. It's actually kind of a cool device. I don't know if I have it in front of me here. But you plug it in. It works over power over Ethernet. You plug it into the network and then output the NDI out its HDMI port. So that's how you would do it. You would plug that HDMI into the Teradek here for that. And TVJ did a gig last week where they used fiber, live view, and a high vision using SRT for transmission. So it gets complicated, right? But if you want to do it right, you got to have the gear to make it work. Because if the client's paying you, you want it to work, for sure. Mark asked a good question here. Would I buy one? You know, I probably would buy something like this. I've been meaning, I haven't had a need to own one. I was looking at the VDU X just so I had something like this that I could use. I don't do a lot of in-the-field streaming. Very rarely do I do that. But it would be nice to have something that did. And what I like about this is that it's got the screen, so I can actually see because it's giving me a real-time, it's a monitor. So you know, when I use the app with the other devices, it's jumpy because it's not real-time video, so you don't really see what's going into it. This, you can actually see what's going into it. Mark says, yes, I did do a bird dog review. So if you check through my thing there, take a look. And M. Wong wants to know, what do I think of this? You know, I have a YOLO box that I haven't looked at yet, which I will get to. It's on, my production videos always get behind on the consumer stuff. But I'm caught up right now on the consumer stuff, so I was going to work on the Teradek here tomorrow. But I do want to look at the YOLO at some point. Maybe I'll do a live stream with the YOLO, because I have it. I just haven't had a chance to get to it. Sam does a lot of VHS to DVD conversions. That's a dark art right there. And Jason says, yeah, I could take it. You know, the problem with the launches when you go to NASA and stuff is that there's so many other media organizations there that a lot of times the Wi-Fi stuff doesn't work very well. And I think they sometimes don't like you using two-way radios around their equipment there. And Patrick Chang made another $2.05 in affiliate commission the other day. You're getting there. You know, you got to start somewhere. That's how it works. And for a long time, actually, affiliate revenue was more than my YouTube revenue was. For a really long time, actually. All right, everybody, I got a jet because I got to get ready for this meeting. But I do appreciate everybody stopping by to check this thing out. And let's see how long it takes to turn it off. I'm going to hit the power button here. There it goes. Yeah, so when it turns on and you have share link enabled, it just starts transmitting to it right away. And then it's only until you hit when you hit the button is when it actually starts broadcasting. That's how that works. Eller wants to know, couldn't you use a USB Wi-Fi dongle? You could. You could plug, this has Wi-Fi built in, but you could use a USB cellular modem with it if it's compatible. I got to look at the compatibility list. And Jason, glad you liked the stream. Yeah, I'll be back again with another stream. I'm going to probably shoot this tomorrow morning. I was expecting there to be more to it, but it's pretty darn simple, which I'm not complaining about. So I've got everything set up for the review now, and I will be back again with another stream. I've got one of those retro video game magazine things to do, so maybe we'll do that tomorrow. I bought some more. So when I do those magazine openings, I've been buying up like little retro doodads and stuff, so I've got some coffee mugs. Nintendo-themed coffee mugs. That might be kind of fun. One of them changes color when you pour hot water in. It's a Game Boy screen. It lights. I'll show you. It's cool stuff. All right, everybody. I got a jet, but thank you all for tuning in, and I want to thank our two super chatters, Grayson and Josiah, for your contributions. And I will be streaming again before you know it. So set your notifications. Maybe YouTube will get around to notifying you that I'm going live. And if you follow me on Amazon, if you go to the Amazon link, you can follow me on Amazon. And Amazon actually notifies people better than YouTube does. So you can check me out over there. So I will turn off my camera now, and I will see you all again on the next stream. And thank you all for tuning in. And we will get to the YOLO box. I do have one, and I've been meaning to get to it. So we will look at that too. All right. Have a good afternoon, everybody, and stay safe out.